Hello students, we'll discuss about this topic work, that is what is work, when we will say that work is done, what are the required things for the work to be done, and what are the common examples where we will say that we have done some work. Let's start with this common example, that when we push a car, it start to move along the direction of our applied force. That means our pushing, our applied force causes a displacement, and if we push the car will move forward. That means the displacement of the car is along our direction of force. And if we release this force on that car, then the car will move, but it will move with uniform speed. That time there is no any force with the car, it is simply displacing, but there is no any force with the car. Now here when the brakes are applied on that car, suppose it is moving with uniform speed and brakes are applied on the car, so the body which is already in uniform motion, some force is applied on it, correct, in terms of brake, and this brake is opposite to the direction of motion. That means the force applied opposite to the direction of motion, so it will slow down the motion and the car will finally stop. So that time what we will say, the car will cover a short distance. Okay, when brakes are applied, when the force applied opposite to the direction of motion, the car will travel a short distance and then it will stop. So this displacement, this short displacement is opposite to the direction of applied force, that is brake, correct. So these are the two conditions where we will say that some work is done there. So what is the definition of work? Work is said to be done when a body displaces by a force applied on it. That means the force is the cause of the displacement. So how can we measure the work? Work done is measured as the product of magnitude of the force applied, okay, and this force causes the displacement. Okay, so that means it is the product of the magnitude of force and the displacement, and both are along the same line, either along the same direction or opposite to one another. Okay, we will say that work is done and the measurement is given here. Work done is equals to force into displacement, the magnitudes we are taking. Now if work done is equals to force into displacement, so the unit of work will be Newton into meter, because force has the unit Newton, displacement has the SI unit meter, so Newton meter is the unit. In SI we will write this Newton meter as joule, and if we want to define this 1 joule of work, we will define simply like that: when 1 Newton of force applied on a body causes a displacement of 1 meter, then we will say that 1 joule of work is done. So this is the definition of 1 joule. So what is the CGS unit of work? That is erg, and you know that CGS unit of force is Dian, and CGS unit of displacement is centimeter, so Dian into centimeter gives 1 erg, correct. So 1 erg can be defined like that, that when 1 Dian of force causes a displacement of 1 centimeter, then the work done said to be as 1 erg. And now it is your task how you can relate this 1 joule of work to erg. Okay, that is how many ergs are there for 1 joule. This is your task, you have to find out this. So there are some examples. A boy pushes a wall with a force of 50 Newton. So it is a wall, no? So there is no any displacement, even if whatever the force applied on it. So if no displacement is there, that means no work is done. Second example, we have a force of 50 Newton again displaces a body by 5 meters. So displacement is there, and this force causes the displacement. So 50 Newton into displacement gives the work done. Okay, so 50 into 5, 250 joule, correct. Now if we increase the amount of force, the magnitude of force, if we increase, that means it is from 50 Newton we are taking 80 Newton. So obviously the product will be greater, that means the work done will be greater. So as we are increasing the magnitude of force, there is an increase in the amount of work done. So if we increase the displacement, again there is some increase in work done, because the product will increase. So the work done is depending on those two factors, that is force and displacement. If the force is increasing, we will say some work, that means we will say that amount of work is also increased. If the displacement is increasing, then the same, that is work will increase. This is one of the example that I have taken. A body of mass 50 Newton at rest is accelerated. So here accelerated means what? When it is accelerating, that time force is there with the body. Okay, so it is accelerated to the velocity 20 meter per second. It is initially at rest, accelerated to 20 meter per second. So that means there is some acceleration. In 5 seconds it is also given, no? So change in this velocity divided by time gives the acceleration. So this way we can find out the acceleration. Okay, so if we get the acceleration, we have the mass, then we will get the force. You read this question properly. Force is not given here, you have to find out the force. Okay, so you are getting the acceleration as 20 minus 0, because it is initially at rest, divided by 5. That will give 20 by 5, that is 4 meter per second. That is the acceleration. 4 meter per second is square, and mass is given as 50 kg. So 50 into 4 gives 200 Newton. That is the force. And the displacement, again you will use the equation of motion, that is s equals to ut plus half at square. So u is 0 here. Okay, so half at square gives you 50 meter. You need to calculate this. Okay, you try this in your copy. So now you have force, you have the displacement, you can easily calculate. Work done is equals to 10 kilojoule, that is 10,000 joule. Okay, so after this 20, after achieving this velocity 20 meter per second, what is said here, there is accelerated, the body is accelerated to 20 meter per second. So that means after getting the velocity 20 meter per second, there is no any acceleration. That means there is no any force with the body. Okay, and the body will move with uniform speed. So that time there is no any force. Even if the body is displacing, it is moving, but there is no any force. So force is released, and the body start to move with uniform speed. So that time no work is done, because force is released, no? See here, a body is moving against a force of 100 Newton, get displaced by 2 meters. So against a force, that means force is against the motion of the object of the body, and the displacement is given 2 meter. So if we want to calculate the work done, okay, by the force, when the displacement is opposite to the direction of force, it is also given, against it is given, and here also it is directly given that the displacement is opposite to the direction of force. So what we will write, we'll write work done is equals to, if we are taking the force as positive, then we'll take the displacement which is opposite to the direction of force. That's why we have taken this minus sign here. Now this force as well as this displacement, both are the vector quantities. That's why with the magnitude, the direction is important too here for the force and displacement. So that's why we are taking this displacement with a negative sign. So work done is equals to minus Fs. Okay, so what is the meaning of minus Fsc? After calculating, we are getting minus 200 joule. You know the calculation, no? So minus 200 joule. What is the meaning of minus 200 joule here? Because we know that force and displacement both are vector, but work is a scalar. Let's see here, work is a scalar quantity. The negative sign in that work done shows only that the displacement is against or opposite to the direction of force. Correct? That means when the body is displacing, the force applied on the body is opposite to the direction of displacement. In common word, we can say the body is actually slowing down. Correct? Now, as force is a vector quantity, so see, this is a roller, you suppose, this is the horizontal line, and this is the force, and this arrow shows the direction of applied force. Now you see, the force is toward that side. Okay, but if you think practically, when you apply the force like this roller will move to that side along the horizontal line. Correct? No? So that means this force, this complete force, is not causing the displacement toward that side. Some part of force is acting to that side. Okay, this is the whole force. Okay, but some part of force is acting to that side, and by this direction you can easily understand that some part of force is also acting upward. Okay, see here, this F2 is acting upward. We are splitting this force into two parts. That means we are resolving. In physics, we will say that we are resolving this force into two components. One is along this horizontal line and one is along this vertical line. Okay, so F1 causes the displacement. You see here, this is the displacement, suppose. Okay, if this is the displacement, this F1 causing the displacement, not the F2. Okay, there is no any displacement upward. Okay, in upward direction, the roller is remain in this level only, na? So there is no any upward displacement. So this F2 is there, but there is no any displacement along this direction of F2. Okay, so we'll take only this F1 which causes this displacement. Understanding? Okay, so work done is equals to, here this F1 causes the displacement, so we'll write F1 into S is the work done. Now we have this F, no, and we have to find out this F1 in terms of this F. So let's see here, we are using the idea of trigonometry here. This is suppose the horizontal line we have already considered, and this is the direction of force, and this is the angle in between the direction of force and this horizontal line, or simply we can say along the direction of, that means the direction theta is the angle in between the displacement and the applied force, actual applied force. Okay, so this F1 is the force that causes the displacement, okay, and this F is the actual applied force. Now if we are representing by the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle this F, and this base represent this F1, which is the actual force, which is the force that causes the displacement. So we know cos theta is equals to what? Base divided by hypotenuse, or you can write here F1 divided by F. You see here it is equals to cos theta. So this F1 is equals to F cos theta, that you can write, okay, and you can replace for this F1 as F cos theta. You see here we have work done is equals to F1 S, no, so for this F1 we can put F cos theta and S remain as it is. So don't forget this formula, work done is equals to Fs cos theta, where theta is what? Theta is the angle in between the applied force and the displacement, okay. So don't forget this formula, F equals to Fs cos theta. Now see, this is one of the example when we are resolving the displacement into two component. You simply think this is a box placed on an inclined plane, and here it will slide down, and this will slide down because of its own weight is acting on it, and the weight is acting toward that direction. You can see it is clearly given here, the weight of the box is acting downward, okay, it is toward that direction. So that time we will say here is, suppose this is the direction of weight and this is the direction of that inclined plane or displacement, the actual displacement. So the angle is given as, or we consider the angle as theta, that is theta is the angle in between the weight and the displacement. So this displacement now it can be resolved into two component, one is toward that side, that is not shown here, but one is along to that side, that is along the direction of force. So that will be S cos theta. You try to find out by using the previous idea, okay. S, which is taken as the hypotenuse, and here suppose this one is S1, so for that S1 it will be S cos theta. You see here we have done the same thing in terms of force, okay, the previous one you have seen like this one. So now this is the actual displacement along the direction of force, along the direction of weight, okay. So work done is equals to, while it is sliding down, work done is equals to, it can be measured as F, and this displacement is not S, it is S cos theta. So Fs cos theta is the work done here. Again we are getting the same, so don't forget this formula. Now see, some special cases are there when theta is equals to 0, that is the maximum work done, condition of maximum work done, because you know that cos theta has the maximum value when theta is equals to 0 degree. Okay, here you see the figure, this roller is sliding or it is moving toward the direction of force. This is the force applied, okay, this is the actual force and this is the displacement. So both are along the same direction, that is angle between them is 0. So theta is equals to 0, so Fs cos theta, cos 0. Cos 0 means 1, so Fs into 1, that is the maximum value. So work done is equals to Fs, that is the maximum value. Like previously we have started with this, work done is equals to Fs. Correct. There is one more more condition for maximum work done. You see here, first you see this one, that is 0 work done, that is when theta is equals to 90 degree. Here this is the direction of applied force. You just suppose that force is applied vertically upward and this roller is moving toward that side, that is displacement and force making an angle 90 degree in between them. So we will put for the theta it is 90, and cos 90 you all know it is 0, cos 90 degree gives 0, so Fs into 0 gives 0. So this is the 0 work done or no work done, we'll say. So when force applied perpendicularly or normally to the direction of displacement, so we'll say there is no any work done. Some examples are there, you see, this is the example of what you can guess. This one is circular motion, or you can say uniform circular motion. Here this one is the direction of centripetal force, which is toward the center, as all of you know, okay, it is inward the center, and if suppose the object is here, which is in circular motion, the object is here, its displacement is, that means the direction of its velocity, linear velocity, is shown by drawing a tangent, and this one is the tangent, and this arrow gives the direction of velocity. And the velocity, if we have the direction of velocity, the displacement is along the same direction, as that means whatever the direction of velocity, the same that direction the displacement is also has. So here this is making an angle 90 degree, so displacement is toward that side, linear displacement, okay, and the centripetal force, that is the actual force, causes to this side. So when the object is in circular motion, so the net work done for that case is always 0 at any point. If we are calculating, the work done will be 0, because all the time the centripetal force, the direction of centripetal force, making an angle 90 degree with the direction of velocity or displacement, correct? No, linear velocity I'm telling, okay. Now see, next example we have, you suppose this one is a weight or a luggage that a coolie is lifted on his head. So this s is the displacement, or suppose this s is the height up to which the coolie lifted this weight. So that time the force the coolie applied to that side, upward direction, okay, and this displacement is also in upward direction. So that time what we will say, some work is done, because force and displacement both are along the same direction, correct? Now when this luggage is lifted on the head of the coolie and the coolie is moving toward that side, so force is there with the that means force is applied by the coolie, because the force he is applying on that luggage, on that weight, to balance its weight. See, all the time the weight of this luggage is acting toward this side, so that's why the coolie has to be applied a force upward, okay. So the coolie is applying the force all the time, okay, to balance this weight only, and he is moving toward that side. So that time force, you see, the direction of balancing force is toward that side and the displacement is toward that side. So what will say, the work done when the coolie is already lifted the luggage on his head and going to that horizon line, so we will say the work done is 0. Why? Because the direction of balancing force is upward, okay, vertically upward, and the moment of the coolie, the displacement of the coolie is toward the horizon line, making an angle 90 degree with one another, correct? No, so that's why the work done is 0 in that case. But here some work is done, when it is lifted up some work is done. So let's see this one. This is the third special case, when theta is equals to 180 degree, or we will say that force is against the displacement. You see here, you just remember the previous example that we have taken when the brakes are applied. So you see, suppose this roller is moving toward that side, okay, and a force, or suppose a brakes are applied, so that force should be toward that side, no? So suddenly it will not stop. With that force it will go up to a certain displacement, and then finally it will stop. First it will slow and stop. So while it is slowing down, it will cover some displacement, no, it will cover some distance. So that distance is with the force. So we will say that the angle between the displacement, the direction of displacement, and the direction of force is 180 degree, and cos 180 degree is nothing but -1. And you see what we are getting here, like previously we have already get this, W is equals to, that is work done, is equals to Fs into -1. -1 is for this cos 180 degree, and that is minus Fs, that is negative work done. And as I've said, this is also a condition of maximum work done. So if the question is asked like that, what are the condition of maximum work done, so you will say that when the force is along the direction of displacement or opposite to the direction of displacement, that is on the same line, then we'll say that this is the condition of maximum work done. W is equals to Fs, only Fs or minus Fs, correct? Now see, a 8-gram stone is thrown upward. This is one of the example for this negative work done, correct? So when a stone is thrown upward up to a height 50 meter, what is the force acting on the stone? So when it is going up, there is some force acting on it to slowing it down, that is the gravitational force. The gravitational attractional force causes the slowing down of a stone, correct? No, so is the work done on the stone is negative, what you will say, because the force is acting downward and the stone is going upward. So it's very clear that the force, the attractional force, gravitational force causes the slowing down of stone, no? So it is decreasing the speed. So what we'll say, the force is opposite to the direction of displacement. For the stone is going upward and slowing down, the force is acting downward. So displacement upward, force downward. So this is the negative work done, correct? And why? The reason is already given. So what is the amount of work done in that case? So let us calculate. See here, work done on lifting any object is against the gravitational force, that is against its weight, correct? And that is mg. You see here, this is the stone. Suppose when it is thrown upward, all the time the weight of the stone is acting downward, that is actually the force, and it is going up and slowing down also. So here, suppose at this height it comes into the rest position, and then it will finally comes down. So we are thinking about its upward motion only. So from here to here it is reaching a height h, which is taken as the displacement, and during this the force that slowing down the motion of the stone, that is weight. So mg is the force and displacement is taken as h. So you see, work done is equals to F into S, and in that F we can replace as mg, okay, and displacement as h, correct? So mgh is the work done here when the when we will say that when the work is done against the gravitational force. But here we are missing one thing, we are missing that minus sign. But see, work done is a scalar quantity, no? So you have to just assume that this one is a negative work done, okay? So there is no need, I mean you can take minus sign, but there is no need, okay? For work done we will consider only the magnitude, not the direction, because it is a scalar quantity. Let's see one more example here. A body when acted upon a force of 10 kgf get displaced by 0.5 meters. That you have to calculate. You note down this question, okay? Here I am giving you some hint that calculate the work done by the force. This is the force 10 kgf, no? So you have to calculate this kgf, 10 kgf into Newton. That you will know later. Here also you just try to think what will be this value in Newton, okay? Later I will tell this. But here in the first bit it is given in the direction of force. So calculate the work done by the force when the displacement is in the direction of force. So in the direction of force, that means theta you will take 0. For all the 3 bits you will use the formula work done is equals to W is equals to Fs cos theta, and here you will take theta is equals to 0 degree because both are in same direction, okay? Here an angle 60 degree, so theta will take 60 degree. Here it is given that normal is displacement is normal to the force, that is 90 degree, so theta will take 90 degree. Here this g you have to use for this to convert this kgf into Newton, you see. Now see this example. Aman with a load of 40 kgf climbs up a stairs of height 15 meter in 40 seconds, whereas Suman does the same. That means he is also lifting the same weight for the same height, okay? But the time he has taken, that is 30 seconds. Compare the work done by them. So you can compare, because you see here the load is same. This is the force and this is the displacement. So mgh for Aman, this is mgh, and Suman is also lifting the same load, no, and up to the same height. So for those two the work done will be same, correct? That is, here this 40 kgf is 40 into 10, that is 400 Newton. We are taking g equals to 10 here. So 400 Newton into 50, that will give 6000 joule or 6 kilojoule. That is the work done for both, the amount of work done by Aman as well as Suman. But here 3 points are there. Suman did the work earlier, as because you see here Aman taken 40 seconds, Suman taken 30 seconds. So Suman did the work earlier. So what does it mean? Suman is more active, or Suman likes to do this work, or Suman is more powerful? Which one is the correct option? This one, last one. Suman is more powerful. So this is introducing a new physical quantity that is called power. So power is simply the fastness or slowness of doing a work. See here, the rate of doing work is called power. It is measured as the work done per unit time. That means power is equals to work done divided by time, correct? Or if we want to get one more formula, we can simply put for this work, it is force into displacement, and you see here this S by T, S by t means what? Displacement by time, that is velocity. So force into velocity. So power is also is equals to force into velocity. We have one example here. Ranjan exert a force. This is taken from the book of 150 Newton and pulling a cart with a speed of 10 meter per second. So that means the cart is initially at rest. When this much force is applied, the cart gaining a speed of that much, 10 meter per second. So there is some acceleration during the application of this force. Understanding? So this force causes the motion of the cart, okay, and its velocity reaches to 10 meter per second. So you simply calculate by multiplying those two what is the power. But here we have 150 Newton into 10, no, so that will give 1500 Newton meter per second. Is that the unit of power? See, if you calculate this with this formula, P equals to F into V, 150 into 10, so 1500 Newton meter per second. Newton meter per second, is that the unit of power? See here, power is a scalar quantity, the unit of power is watt, okay, or joule per second, because work done by time, no, so joule per second, okay. Joule means Newton meter, and right now we have said Newton meter per second. So it is written as, the SI unit of power is written as, is taken as this watt, okay, don't forget this. It has a symbol W. Some other scales, in some other scale, watt is taken like this, kilowatt, that is 1 kW, 10 to the power 3 watt, okay. Megawatt, that is 1 mw, okay, 10 to the power 6. Some other units are also given there with the prefix, and you see it is given in the book, and it is your task, what is the CGS unit of power, that you have to find out, because you have the idea that work done has the unit CGS unit erg, correct? You calculate this, you have to answer this one, okay. What is the CGS unit of power? Now see the other units of power, like one more question is asked here, that what is horsepower, that you have to answer, okay. And what is, where it is used, that means horsepower is used where, you have to answer this. I have given here one, this one, you know, you have to see in your book also, that 1 horsepower is equals to 746 watt, or in kilowatt we can write 0.746 kilowatt, correct? So the question is asked to you, that can you write 1 watt is equals to how many horsepower? You have 1 horsepower is equals to that much watt, you see here, you have to calculate this. Now in order to set up the difference in between work and power, you have to answer this question, which of these does not depend on time, whether it is work or power, which is does not depend on time, you have to answer this. Now some numericals are there. A boy weighing 40 kg climbs up a stairs of 30 steps, each of 20 centimeter high, in 4 minutes, and a girl weighing 30 kg does the same in 3 minutes. Calculate the work done by and power developed by the girl only, okay. So here we have to take G is equals to 10 meter per second. So for the girl it is given mg, that is the weight of the girl, is 30 kg, it is given here, girl weighing 30 kg, correct? So 30 kg means what? 30 kg into the value of acceleration due to gravity, that is G. So mg, it is given here mg, so it is 300 Newton. And the displacement, that is the height, it is given here, no, stairs of 30 step, each of height 20 centimeters. So 30 into 20 gives the total height, 30 into 20 centimeters, so it is 600 centimeter, that is 6 meter we can take, okay. So we have 300 Newton as the force, or mg. Work done, you know, mgh, that is 300 into 6, 1800 joule, or 1.8 kilojoule. Power is equals to, that is the power developed by the girl, that is equals to work done by time, and time we have 3 minutes, so that is 3 into 60. So you see here how it is calculated, that work done 1800 joule and divide by 3 into 60, so that is 180. So 10 watt is the power developed by the girl. Now it is one of the question that asked in 2006 board examination, okay. For 2 marks it is asked, section A question. A boy weighing 40 kg climbs up a stairs of 30 steps, the same question, okay. So here you have to compare the work done by them, both boy and girl, and you have to compare the power developed by them. So you see here, work done by the boy, that can be written as m1. Is taken the weight of the boy only, okay, and m2 is the mass of the gull. Okay, so mgh and mgh. So mg means weight of the, that is 40 kgf, m1g, and m2g, that is 30 kgf. See, this hh will cancel out, and for these two, m1g we can take 40, and here for m2g we can take 30, because this m1g is nothing but this weight of the boy, and this m2g is nothing but this 30 kg, that is the weight of the girl. So hh will cancel because height is same, no? So 40 by 30, that is 4:3 is the ratio of the work done by the boy to the work done by the girl. Now the power, comparison of the power, no? So power developed by the boy, we can write that work done divided by time. T1, why we have given? Because you see, time are different, no? The boy has taken 4 minutes, whereas the girl has taken 3 minutes. So let's see. So mgh, so hh cancel, again we are taking this 40 and divide by this t1. For this t1 we are taking 4 into 60, because minute is given, no? 4 minutes, so 4 into 60, that is in second. And 40 by this hh will cancel out, na? We are doing the same thing, you should do this in your copy. Okay, so 1:1 is the ratio of the power developed by the boy and power developed by the girl. So power of the boy and power of the girl is same, correct? Why? Because here the boy, maybe he is with greater weight, but he is taking more time. Girl is with lesser weight, taking less time. Now see, here this one is just suppose a carom board. Carom board, you know how to play carom board. Aman is hitting a carom board striker with his fingers. Work is done on the striker. You see here, this is the striker. On hitting, work is done on the striker. Now this striker will move to that coin. On striking, the striker hits the coin. Work is done on the coin. Correct? So here what you are understanding, when some work is done on that striker, this striker makes itself capable of doing work. Okay, and it is going to that coin, and it is now able to do some work. So that's why it is hitting the coin and make some work, that means do some work on this coin. Understanding? Now if this coin will move forward, okay, so what we'll say, the coin hits, this coin hits the another coin, and work is done on the other coin. Here some work is done. So what we are seeing here, when some work is done on a particular object, it is capable of doing work on any other object. So what we are getting here, this is called energy. Okay, so a body can do with it energy, that means a body can do work with this energy. See here, energy of a body is its capacity to do the work. Amount of work done, the amount of work done on a body is equals to the amount of energy transferred to the body. Okay, so here if we are doing some work on that striker, so and striker, that means what we are doing, we are doing some work and we are supplying, there is some transfer of energy to that striker. Okay, and when the striker is doing some work on this coin, so this striker transferring some energy to this coin, correct? Now see, what is the unit of energy, because here we are getting amount of work done is equals to amount of energy transfer. So energy is a scalar quantity like the work, and its unit is same as the work, that is joule. In CGS it is erg, and power is equals to as work done by time, so we can write energy by time. Okay, so energy is equals to, yes, see, P is equals to E by T, no? So E is equals to P into T, that we can write. Okay, so this is the formula for energy. Energy equals to power into time. Now it is asked here, what is 1 kilowatt hour? You see here, and you have to write down the value of 1 kilowatt hour by your own. You see the formula, you have E equals to P into time. 1 kilowatt means, you know, it is actually representing a power, and time, this hour representing some time, no? So power into time gives what? Energy. So 1 kilowatt is what? 1 kilowatt is actually one of the commercial unit of energy, and you have to calculate the value of this. You have to put down that 1 kilowatt means 1000 watt, and this 1 hour means 60 into 60 second. You have to write the various units of energy with their values in joule. That is given in the book. You have to note down all those. Now this is one of the numerical. A machine rises a load of 750 Newton through a height 16 meter in 5 seconds. You know how to calculate the work done. This is M into G, that is mg, that is force, and this is the displacement. And if you can calculate the work done, that will be the energy. Okay, so first bit, the energy spent by the machine, so that is work done is equals to Fs, that is this much into this, so that gives what, 12,000 joule or 12 kilojoule. Now here you have to calculate the power of the machine if it is 80% efficient. So for this efficiency we will do later. First we have to calculate what is the power developed by the machine. So power is equals to energy by time. Energy we have this 12,000. Hope that all are understanding this. 12,000 divided by time. 12,000 divided by time is given here 5 seconds. No, it is already given in the question. So 2400 watt, or we can write 2.4 kilowatt. So it is 2400 watt, that is the power developed by the machine, correct? But it is given it is 80% efficient, that is the efficiency of the machine is 80%. And don't forget this formula, that efficiency is equals to power exerted by the machine, that is the output power, divided by the power given to the machine, that is the input power. And that we have to calculate, the input power, the power of the machine, that we have to calculate input power. Okay, so we have the efficiency 80%, so we have taken for this efficiency 80%. Power exerted by the machine is 2400, that is 2400 watt, and that we have to calculate power of the machine. So power of the machine will be this this 80% means 80 divided by 100, no, so you know how to calculate this. 2400 into 10, 100 divided by cross multiple, those are cross multiplied, 100 we are taking here multiplied to this, and 80 we are dividing, correct? So 3000 watt is the power of the machine, that is also called the power rating of the machine. The machine is of 3 kilowatt. Understood? So this is all for today. Thank you, class.